And what I want you to recognize, right, is through those transitions, you grew, you became the person that you are, right? So life is not about just being anything. It is about this continued growth based on the vision that you want, and working through these beliefs of who we were to who we want to be. So thank you for allowing us to do that little bit of a side venture there. So now that we think about that, and we think about the Fred Astaire world, growing the organization, as we do this coaching session and we dive a little deeper into it, what is it that you'd like to achieve as a result that you'd be able to say, I can walk away with from this session?
I mean, I think what I would just want to be I feel really ready for the process. I just need it. Like, I don't know what I need. I just need like gotcha. This. I don't know. Is it like, do I need someone to say, okay, it's okay, Kate, you know, you can go and do it. Like,
go do it.
I don't know.
Here we go. In 5 minutes, I'm going to say, Kate, it's great. I think you should go do it. Yeah. I think you should go do it. Okay, so let's talk about that. When I say, okay, Kate, go do it, what is the reaction that's happening within you?
I've definitely a but in front of me. And I think that this becomes the obstacle of like me being in the role of one school and getting to higher, and me not knowing the pathway of how that's going to work. There's definitely, you know, issues. About like, even one of the main things is that it's changing people's also perception of my readiness. So my main thing is that other people, when I grow and change, and everyone has this, when we grow and change, there's other people that will still react to us being
in your old form.
Right. So I think that's probably, it's like, I don't know what to do. I shouldn't say I can't. I don't know what to do to get other people to just allow me to take that space.
Welcome to episode 1 of Impact and Influence. This is a real life leadership coaching for incredible people who want impact and influence as leaders in their career or business. I'm Nancy Michelli, an engineer turned leadership communication coach. Now, here's the cool thing about this show is I have absolutely no idea about what question or issue my guest wants to chat about today. So you'll get an opportunity to see my coaching style and see potentially how you can implement this as a leader in your company. Often as management, you will come across employee issues, be it related to performance, motivating behavior, or setting people up for success in their next level. And to do so, you need to be able to implement coaching. So what I encourage you to do during each of these episodes is a couple things. First is listen to how I ask questions. In coaching, it's more important to understand how you say something than what you say. As well, I want you to pay attention to the insights and solutions guests come up with. Often the answers are right within them. And finally, how you can gain commitment going forward. Today, I am super excited to have my first guest and one of my favorite people, my dance instructor and business owner, Kate. And this is really cool because for years, Kate has been on the other side coaching me on how to become more expressive in my body language through ballroom dance. Welcome, Kate.
Thanks, Miss Nancy.
So Kate, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do. You can even do a little promotion of your business if you want. Take a moment.
Sure. I didn't plan for that, so I'll
No,
wing
I know.
it. So I'm Kate. I have danced most of my life. So I also have studied human behavior all of my life. So I have a master's in social work and have found a way to combine the healing and beauty and wonderful things about dancing, like posture, working on emotional connections with somebody else, being able to embody another human and interact in a really positive space, and been able to combine both dancing and fantastic things about human beings together. And so in the school, we run private lessons, group lessons, and practice party lessons. And people come and get to dance. And dance is a whole journey of self-exploration. And so everyone dives in, has fun, grows, gets rid of anything they want to remove, and off we go as dancers.
Awesome. Awesome. And the name of your dance studio and your location so people can find you.
Fred Astaire Dance Studio. Thank you, Nancy, for keeping me on track. For there are all my goals. And right, so the details. We work at 400 Dundas Street. And yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity to dance.
Yeah. So I will vote highly for this because I have taken lessons at Fred Astaire in London for like 17 or 18 years, minus a little bit of COVID break. So Kate, thank you very much for being my first guest. So I'm curious, what is it that you would love to discuss to move forward in your journey as a leader, as a franchisee owner, as your future? What is it that you'd love to chat about today?
So there's two things that, one thing is I feel like I'm really shifting to a new place right now. So it's nice to see myself expand in my role, my capabilities, my skill set. And the idea, there's two forks that I want to take. I'd love to own more schools and grow the Fred Astaire organization in this new philosophy of management that I have been working really hard on creating, and it's become super successful. And then the second thing is I want to become a book writer. So I'm going to be also writing books on how I train my staff, which is very unique and incredibly successful. They're all incredibly happy staff. I've taken thousands of hours and put a lot of effort into making a life enjoyable and not having the hard parts about life get in your way. And that's what dancing stands for, is to learn how to do that. So yeah, so I have been articulating this book in my head for years, and it's finally time. Like I'm finally ready. So I've done my 10,000 hours of building this experience and worked really hard. And now it's like, okay, it's time to actually move forward. Fears, of course, always get in your way. So I've worked with most of my fears, but I'm really excited to talk to you because they're like, you're very good at pulling me out of the obstacles and your training and what you've been developing in you. I'm super excited to have access to.
Cool. So if you could choose one of these two areas, right? Owning more studios, growing Fred Astaire in Canada, or writing the book, which is the one that resonates the most with you today?
When I was thinking about it this morning, I was like, when you spoke with me, so we had a chat obviously off camera, and you said, we need to develop the new Kate, not the old Kate. Yeah. So that's it's needed for both. If we stay in the context of Fred Astaire, we can kind of talk about, because I have more obstacles there than sitting down and having my own thoughts and being able to put them on paper. But the new Kate, the one that I need to grow into, has to be present for both projects.
Yes, definitely. So I'm just going to do a little side note here for anybody who's watching. Last week I was traveling across Canada, and ironically Kate and I met in Regina, which was like bizarre chance that we both happened to be there at the same time. but she said something, and when I got to BC, another entrepreneur I was having dinner with had like this same comment and these same words where it's like, I want to be this, but I'm just this. And it gets us into this statement, right, of this is where I am. So how do I get to there? And so here's one of the things that I want to refresh everybody, and I'm going to refresh Kate with in this process is, I want you to think about being in high school, right? Before you became before you got your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, right? Your franchisee with Fred Astaire, and moving through those perspectives, right? If you had sat in high school when you're like 17 or 18 years old and said, I am just who would you have said you were at that point?
Oh, I mean, instantly, I probably would have said I'm just a loser, which is interesting.
Yeah. So, right. You said,
fascinating.
I'm just a loser, right? And so we have these like statements that say, no, I'm just here. Right? Could you have imagined in high school being a franchisee owner of Fred Astaire?
No. I wanted to be a social worker. That was for sure like in high school. And then for me, it was this very immature, emotionally person at that stage. So like, that's what strikes me as like, oh, I was really emotionally young back then.
Right. But we are, as teenagers, really emotionally young. But then we go, okay, we put this vision in front of ourselves, right? That says, I want to be a social worker. Therefore, you then went to school, did that, studied that, right? And then something drove you to say, oh, I want to be a ballroom dance instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what was that connection? How did you get from there to there?
Do you want me to go into detail a little? Like, it's a bit of a story. Sure. I'll try and make it in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So, what happened? I'm going to be totally self-open, and then you can decide how much you want me to go into. But when I was in social work, one of the things that happened was it was an unhealthy culture in some ways. And so a piece of that time in my life where I was working in social work and I loved my job. My job was outstanding. It was actually experience outside of my own little circle that I was becoming disenfranchised because there was people being mean to each other, and that was part of the culture. And so, so there was a little bit of like unhappiness there. Then I was in a really, really bad car accident. And so my friends and I don't want to say anything that would be offensive to your listeners, but my friends and I, there was a death involved in it. And it was a time where I really, we had done nothing wrong, just to put that on the record. It was not our fault. It just was a thing that was someone else. And so I got called, like my whole heart and soul got called to dancing. So I did not think I'd work in it. I thought I'd stay in social work and that I would do dancing as a little hobby. But I ended up finding out because I committed a year. I was like, I for sure will be working as a staff for a year and just develop me as a dancer. And then I ended up realizing how healthy the dance world is and how healthy the dance floor is compared to the world of social work. And so that's when I started to explore, and it was a lot of self-exploration and self-growth, but to come to a place where it was like, okay, I actually think that my destiny is to pull the dance world into like really, really strong health. So there's a place for people that can have that and be that. And we have such a wonderful community here. So people feel family right away. They feel community, they feel love, and so it's always a place that people can learn and just be themselves, right? Which is ideal. And so that's how it kind of grew. And then all of a sudden I was like, well, I guess I'm staying in the dance. Like at that point, I was like, I went into management 5 years later. And at that point I was like, right. I guess I'm doing this. Like, I guess this is my destiny. Like this is happening.
Exactly. And what I want you to recognize, right, is through those transitions, you grew, you became the person that you are, right? So life is not about just being anything. It is about this continued growth based on the vision that you want and working through these beliefs of who we were to who we want to be. So thank you for allowing us to do that little bit of a side venture there. So now that we think about that and we think about the Fred Astaire world, growing the organization, as we do this coaching session and we dive a little deeper into it, what is it that you'd like to achieve as a result that you'd be able to say, I can walk away with from this session?
I mean, I think I would just want to be like, I feel really ready for the process. I just need it. Like, I don't know what I need. I just need like gotcha. This. I don't know. Is it like, do I need someone to say, okay, it's okay, Kate, you can go and do it? Like,
go do it.
I don't know.
Here we go. In 5 minutes, I'm going to say, Kate, it's great. I think you should go do it. Yeah. I think you should go do it. Okay, so let's talk about that. When I say, okay, Kate, go do it, what is the reaction that's happening within you?
I've definitely a but in front of me. And I think that this becomes the obstacle of like me being in the role of one school and getting to higher, and me not knowing the pathway of how that's going to work. There's definitely, issues. About like, even one of the main things is that it's changing people's also perception of my readiness. So my main thing is that other people, when I grow and change, and everyone has this, when we grow and change, there's other people that will still react to us being
in your old form.
Right. So I think that's probably, it's like, I don't know what to do. I shouldn't say I can't. I don't know what to do to get other people to just allow me to take that space.
Got you.
And how do you do that? And how do you,
Yes. How do you do that? And how do you, so one of the things is, in my experience, so when I've gone through this transition, you've watched me do it, go from engineer to leadership communication coach, right? It was a lot for me to get my head wrapped around not being an engineer and actually starting to call myself who I wanted to be. And the more I did it and the more I put myself out there, the more all of a sudden others started to call me now a leadership communication coach. So, Kate, if you could describe yourself as to who is Kate when she is standing in this new role?
Do you want like descriptions or?
Yeah. Let's start with some descriptions and then we'll try and figure out a statement that Kate can say, this is who I am.
I think if I summarize it, it's to be able to take and walk into the power stuff. So for me, I'm always, I'm a leader behind people and I'm really comfortable with that. And I lead from behind and I nurture and I coach and I do all that stuff. For me to I need to become either president of the company or something very high up. Like that's what needs to happen.
Right.
So, yeah. So for me to be that person, when the accountability scares the shit out of me.
Sorry, okay. Yeah, that's okay.
So full disclosure, I do swear sometimes.
But for me, except on the dance floor.
Right? I know. And then we say, oh, fuck, stress. So, like for me right now, I feel this pull to just get more comfortable with power and not in a negative way, because power can be very belittling. It can be very closed. It can really shut I've been shut down a lot out of people higher than me at times and I don't just mean at work, but in life. It's like you try and become something and someone else stops you or puts you down or like fights the power. And so for me, power has become something that I'm like really developed myself without power, so that when the power comes, it doesn't get in any way skewed or been used in the wrong way.
Right.
But now it's like, okay, I got to step into this power role, be super comfortable with it. And it comes with a hell of a lot of accountability.
Correct.
Because if I own more schools, guess what, guys? Like, I'm accountable for all of them.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So let's first take the word power. And if you could picture somebody who you know, and you may know or even not know, but they may be like a thought leader or somebody who represents the type of philosophy of power that you want, who would that be?
You know what? I'm so suspect of watching people in power because usually behind the scenes, there's something that's not healthy. Yeah. But I was to judge just from the outside, like a Tony Robbins seems to be able to like stay grounded, stay with people and not have this poor authority come out of him. Right. And that's kind of like the kinds of leader and big person I want to be, is that's fully like the love of people is number one. Yes. And power is not even in the top 10, right? So, but I need to be at the top and have the power to create that. So it's like this chronic circle for me.
Yes. Okay. So let's dive into this. So, so what I'm hearing is, Tony Robbins is somebody that you see that has that. What are some of the aspects of his way? Because he's a big guy, right? Manages like big, massive business as well as lead people and help with transformations. What are some of the words that define what he does that resonate really well with you?
I think just great energy, like fantastic energy, fantastic passion for making the world a better place. Truly being invested in other people's well-being. That he's loud, he's open, he's energetic, he's, he pulls people up, right? He just is so exciting and so amazing to watch. And it is about helping other people, though. At the end of the day, he's using his skill set to make a ton of people better, to make them more effective in their lives. And I think that's amazing.
Got you. So as somebody who owns multiple franchises, or even the president of an organization like Fred Astaire Canada, what words would you like to be able to say when I show up as that leader? This is me. This is Kate. What are some of those words? Descriptive.
Like I would say, or what I would say?
What you would say. What is it that you would say makes a good top leader?
Incredible would be like just in tuned, really in tune, incredible, happy. I want people to leave, again, what Tony Robbins says is leave feeling like I made them better today.
Exactly.
I made an obstacle leave them today.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that for my staff very successfully. Like, it's really exciting, but I want it to expand and be accessed for more people. So, but I want people to not walk away and be like, oh my God, Kate is amazing. I want people to go away and say, oh my God, I am so much
amazing.
better because of that.
Right.
I am freer because I had that conversation. I feel like I can be me better because I had that conversation. And so I want people to walk away going, oh my gosh, I was struggling with that obstacle and now I don't have it. Right.
Yeah.
And it's that piece.
Yeah. It's that piece. Awesome.
And energy.
Awesome.
I think energy is so exciting. I think energy is the spice of life. Yeah.
Right. Right. And so the more energy you have, the more energy you bring. Okay, so what I hear is I've heard some really good emotion words. I've heard some descriptions. I want you to take a moment and I'm going to have you write down, if you've got a pen and paper there. You do. Awesome. Cool. So I want we're going to do what I call your branding statement. And I'm actually going to give you a link after this on where to get your values from. Because sometimes it may surprise you what your character values are. But what I want you to do is imagine 3 values that you as a leader want to bring into your organization or in a multi-franchise manager. What are 3 values you want to show up as?
I think the love of people and the creation of community.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to write this at the same time.
Yeah. Write them down. I do. Pause and write them down.
3 values that I want at each school.
Yeah. Or
I want openness for sure. That people don't feel like they need to hide pieces of themselves. That I just get so much out of people just being able to be their real selves, not sometimes the way they feel they need to be. Right. So there's that piece. Words and value.
Yeah. Truth. 3 values. Truth. 3 values. Truth.
So love, truth, and community. Is that 3? There
you go. Love, truth, and community. Great 3 values. Now, I want you to describe yourself in 2 positive words of what it would feel like as the leader of the Fred Astaire organization. What would it feel like for you?
Oh, I'd be ecstatic.
Okay, so ecstatic.
I'm really happy. My life is fantastic. I have everything I've ever wanted. Mm-hmm. So I'd be looking and going, oh my gosh, not only did I live a life that I love, now I also have this extra wow piece that I would just be so overwhelmed with incredible gratefulness. Yeah. And I'd be so proud of that accomplishment because it has taken me my whole life.
Yeah.
To even move into that space and be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't. Okay. That would be me. I'd be sitting down being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening.
It's like winning the lottery.
Right? Totally. Yeah. Totally. It would be the same for me. If I won the lottery and this happened, those would be the same emotional, amazing things.
Awesome. Well, I believe this can happen. So let's write down 2 to 3 words about what the 2 to 3 positive words that explain the feeling you would have when you've achieved the results you want.
Okay. I'm glad you can't see my spelling. Ecstatic.
I'm an engineer, Kate. Spelling stuff.
I think just the incredible, overwhelming happiness with getting my life achieved. Like this would be everything I've ever wanted. Would be sitting.
Okay. So happiness,
Am I allowed to use ecstatic? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Joyful.
Joyful, ecstatic, happy. Those are great words. Okay. So the next thing then I want you to write down is I want you to picture the world as perfect by Kate.
Ooh, okay.
And so what does the world look like as perfect by Kate?
Okay, I have this.
Ah,
So
awesome.
here we go. I have this like ideal would be my ideal world would be every single person in it realizes that they have a soul gift and a soul role in life. And they all, instead of running around getting advice from other people, they all learn how to give really good advice to themselves. So they're not running around trying to find another person that maybe is at the exact same place as them. And also to not be able to like advice when it's not your advice to yourself, when you're not being something like coached, like you're doing today, can sometimes be damaging. It's sometimes where shame lives. It's sometimes because someone else is like, you have to be doing this. And it becomes about bullying and about shutting down. So my ideal world would be that people understand and are beautifully talented at giving themselves their own advice when at the time they need it to be completely fulfilling their destiny, to fulfill their life road and get to the spot where it's like, oh my gosh, it's not without conflict. I think conflict is healthy, but it's with people finding that happiness because they're not running around trying to figure out what that is, because they've learned to truly listen to their inner selves, which is our deepest truth place. So I'd love that would be, there you go. That
is the world. Okay. So can you try that to write that into like a sentence or something?
Oh, I need a sentence.
Yeah. Just craft that into.
Everyone is self-actualized.
There you go.
How's that?
Yeah. Everyone is self-actualized. Beautiful. Okay. So now I want you to picture 2 to 3 years from now on this journey to president. What is Kate's life look like? What ideally would you like your life to look like? Is it owning one more studio? Is it stepping into the role of president? Is it like, where does Kate want to see herself in 2 to 3 years?
Oh, in 2 to 3 years. Okay.
In 2 to 3 years.
I would love more schools, that people are really excited to manage and own schools and be a part of that. We'd be starting to look at going across Canada. So probably in 2 to 3 years, that's pretty realistic to be like, let's now, like out west would be wonderful to have some schools at. And then for me to be able to cultivate great managers and great owners, and then have them also discover the wonderful world that it is to own a dance school and own dancing and be a part of creating that for people.
Okay. So let's craft that into just even some bullet points.
Okay. I'm crafting in bullet points. Okay.
Yeah. So bullet points on.
So I am president.
Yeah. So you're president. I'm president, and
we have lots of schools.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. And
we have lots of people that want to.
Yeah. So you just even need to put a few bullet points down, because we're going to craft all of these words into your I am statement.
Oh gosh, this is a little scary.
Okay. I know.
This is me putting myself out there now. I'm like, okay, Nancy. All right.
And I'm going to keep showing up to dance lessons to hold you accountable to this game.
I know. That's the hardest part.
Exactly.
Sometimes, like when your world becomes exactly what you want, it's scarier than not doing that, right?
It is.
Okay, so president, lots of schools, lots of happy staff, like people loving, like people literally dying to be a part of Fred Astaire. Lots of teachers, lots of students, lots of people wanting to learn how to dance, lots of happy people coming and learning salsa and playing around with the waltz and having some tango moments and learning expression and creative. Oh, sorry, I keep talking. You said bullet points.
That's all right.
I'm not.
That's all right.
One of my flaws.
I'm going to do a little side note for everybody. So Kate is one of the processes that I teach is known as the process communication model. And in PCM, we have different personality types. And when we're nervous, our phase personality type will show through. And so Kate and I have very much the same personality type, which is surprising, known as thinker. And so when we are nervous, we have a tendency to over-explain, and even in excitement, we will over-explain and describe way too much. So
sorry, guys.
You have somebody like Kate in your organization. This is the thinker nervousness coming out, which is good because we're going through coaching. And so the reality is, to get to where you want to be, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to get more comfortable being uncomfortable is really the key. So it's okay that you're showing discomfort by over-explaining. I'm okay with that, Kate.
Okay.
So you're good. So now that you've got these words, right? You've got these values. You've got these words about happiness and joyfulness, right? Your excitement, the world as Kate can see it imperfect, and where Kate wants to be in the next 2 to 3 years. What we're going to do is we're going to craft this into a statement. And when you craft this statement, the statement always starts with I am, because what we want to do is bring the future into the present moment. And so you want to be like, I am, and I'm just going to throw words out here based on what it is, but then I'll let you craft it the way you want. So I am so excited. And what was one of your other? Excited, and I'm so happy and
ecstatic.
Ecstatic. Okay. I'm so happy and ecstatic to be leading the Fred Astaire organization in a journey of growth, so that and through the values of love and trust and community, truth, and community, I can allow people to become, to actualize the best of who they are.
Nice.
So
well, I think you formed my sentence. That was perfect.
So I don't even know exactly what I said there, but the intent.
I know I can write that fast.
Yes. Well, it's taped, it's recorded. So, oh, it is recorded. Okay, I almost thought it wasn't recorded. And we gotta
do it all again.
Yes. So the intention is you want this I am statement. Because at the start of this conversation, you said to me, how do I get people to see me as big presidential Kate versus little Kate, right? Dancer Kate, little Kate, this young girl who started dance lessons, who really wants to move up in the organization. And to do it, you first have to start with yourself. So as you said earlier, people in their self need to self-actualize, the solutions are within them, which is the goal of coaching, right? Is the solutions are within you. So first, we needed to define who Kate is. Who do you see yourself as? Not who others see you as, but who do you see yourself as? And so this statement is one that you want to start to rehearse over and over and over again to start to train your brain that you are this future vision of yourself today. Because if you want people to see you as that future vision, you need to show up and act like that today.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure. Actually, honestly, it's quite exciting. It is.
It is.
Like when you talk, I'm like, okay, it's time. It's time. Like I need to actually do this. Like
nerve wracking, right? So let's write this statement down for you, Kate, and we'll just reword it a little bit.
Okay.
But I want you to say, I am. And then pick a couple of those words of really those like positive words.
I am so excited and ecstatic to lead the organization in a journey of is what I got so far.
Yeah. So I would actually I would almost consider, if you're open for this, I am so excited and ecstatic to be the president of Fred Astaire Canada, where I get to lead the organization through, and write your 3 values down. To allow my team and our clients to, and then your self-actualize, or whatever that kind of how Kate sees the world.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, so now I want you to read it aloud and say it for the first time.
Okay, here I go. I am so excited and ecstatic to be president of Fred Astaire. Sorry, I had to like write over writing. Of Fred Astaire Canada, where I get to lead the organization through love, community, and truth to allow my team and our clients to self-actualize and become their true selves.
Awesome. How does that feel?
Scary.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So here's the thing. When we try to do things outside of our comfort zone, it's scary, right? Like we're happy being here and moving to there. So now if you think about that journey of becoming Kate, who is that new version of Kate, if I ask you to repeat that statement to yourself a couple times a day, are you open to do that?
I think I want to reword a couple of things.
That's fine. Yeah.
Once I have it be, for sure.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have a lot of really good self-talk. So just add
exactly.
it to that.
Right.
Yeah. So you have a question though.
Sorry, yes, please speak.
How much time do you have? Okay. So my question for you, and this might take us way off topic, so you can tell me at different time. But there's with truth is finicky, and people, different truths are there for different. And one of the things is that there is some truths that people don't want to see right now, which is why I haven't been able to become higher.
Right.
So when I self-actualize and I say this sentence, is that just going to go away?
Is that going to go away? So here's the deal. When you start to change yourself, people will start to see you as different.
Yes.
right? So I have a question. When you stepped up to going from dance instructor to owning the franchise, what was it that you needed to do? Because you don't just own any franchise, you own the London franchise, which is where Fred Astaire starts in Canada.
Yes.
Right. And so it's like the one that
is the hub.
It's the hub, right? So what is it that you needed to show or believe in yourself that emulated out of you to have that transition to being yours?
I just told myself I was doing it and did not think about it at all. I just knew it. I knew it was a part of the stepping stone. I knew that it was going to be part of the path. And so I just told myself to start it up.
Okay.
Maybe that's what I need to do again. But honestly, I was terrified and absolutely, I was like, I know I have to, but I just had to stop thinking about it. And I just was like, you're doing it. And then that's how it happened.
Right. But you also had to show up as that person for the previous owner of the franchise to let you take over.
Yes, I had to be really good at the job. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So what are some of the skills that you learned or developed that created that new truth that you were ready to take over and have this person? Because it's the same person.
Yes.
In the future, right? Like to allow you to step up to the next level. So what is that truth that Kate had to emulate out of her?
You know what it is? It's, it's okay. So I'm just going to talk and, it is we are not on the same page when it comes to the process. So I know very little about how to buy a business, even though I've done it once.
Yeah.
I did it out of trusting recommendations and processes that other people knew in order to do that. Right. I am very uncomfortable with that conversation. And I'm really uncomfortable stepping up and initiating that conversation because at the end of the day, I don't think anyone would question my skill set. It's, it's how much, and it's all those details of like, how much does it cost to do this? Like, because the reality is I would have to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And little Kate from London, Ontario doesn't know how to buy big things very well.
Right. So who is somebody do you know anybody who knows how to buy big things?
I think so. I know one person, and we met a long time ago, and it was interesting because at the time I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I need more time. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Yes.
And so it became a conversation as well of like, your advice is fantastic and such a beautiful thing to offer me, but I'm not ready. And so I have spent thousands of hours from that conversation feeling a lot more ready now. Like I'm like, okay, I am actually ready.
Yes.
So there is one person. Yes. Is one enough?
Yeah. Like how many people do you really need?
Do you need more from?
Right. The reality is we only need one person who's got the knowledge that we don't have to share with us the information that we need. So if you could ask one question that would help you move forward, right? Because we didn't build Rome in a day, right? Each question leads you to going, okay, here's my next thing that I need to ask. What is one question or one piece of information that would help you on your journey forward?
How do I write the email? Would be a big question. How do I word it? What do I say? Yeah.
For the email is for
To
what?
initiate the process, to be like, okay, I'm ready to
Yeah.
have a serious conversation about this. I have
Okay.
no idea. Like, I feel nauseous just
Right.
from the thought of doing that particular step, because it means
Okay.
I'm fully going forward, right? As soon as I put it on paper and I'm like, I've done everything else and I've got everything else on paper and I'm excited and da 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 da. And it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's talk about that email. What is it that you would like to ask in that email?
Probably, this is like entering such a scary place for me. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Right?
It's awesome, Mel. I love it.
I know. I'm squirming. So it's probably, how much is it? Is a big question. Like, it's almost a question I'm so scared of the answer to. It's nauseating to buy something really expensive.
It is. And it's like, where does the money come from? How does all this work?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, as I said, like all of a sudden you ask me that question. I'm like, yes, like nauseous. This is scary.
It is scary. It is scary. Okay. So are you willing to type right now while you're on the computer?
Yes. Hold on.
You don't have to hit send, but
Okay.
I like people to take action. So
Okay.
I want you to just even send this email to yourself. Okay. And then you can re-look at it. And we'll talk in the end about a commitment as to when you'll actually send this email. Okay. So Kate, in a very simple perspective, so if you think about the personality type of the person that you need to send this to, what personality type do you think this person is? And we've gone through promoter,
probably.
Mm-hmm. When this person communicates,
probably know more.
I'm trying to think as well. Because I've witnessed, I've known this person for 17 years as well. All right. When this person communicates with you, what is the language patterns in email or in business?
Very direct.
Very direct and short. Yeah. Okay. So then you want to keep your email very direct and short. Okay. So you want to match their email concept. Okay. The way they do business. So how would you typically address this person?
My name.
But well, do you say, is it casually like, hey, I'm going to call him Joe right at the moment. Hey, Joe. Hey, guy. Right? Or is it hi, or is it hello? Whatever that is, put that in. Okay. And now let's rehearse what the words are that you want to say, and then we'll try and put that forward. What is the question you want to ask? You said, how much is
the first question is probably, is there a willingness to even explore it as a possibility?
Okay, so let's talk about how can you ask that in a way that would create that conversation. Do you do things more via email, or via in person, or like on the phone?
Yeah. Email's better.
Email's better. Okay. So
just wondering.
Do you want to say just wondering, or is it stating a fact first? I'm interested in moving up the corporate ladder and taking more challenge on.
That's good. Okay.
what it could be, what is the next step you would see to move into either ownership of more franchises or the presidential? What are the next steps in your opinion to move into the presidential role?
Yeah. Okay.
And I would just leave it simple, right? Like if he's short and sweet.
Yep.
Right? It gives that bit of opportunity. How does that email or that feel for you? Besides scary and nauseous.
Could throw up when I get off the call. Yeah, it's just incredible. It's funny. It's like, I don't have a ton of fear because I'm living in my comfort zone right now. Right. And all of a sudden we're talking about really outside and stretching in a way that's super scary. And so that's what's going on in my body right now.
Yes. Yeah, I get that. But now that you've written it, you've typed it, right? I would encourage you to take 24 hours and review it, because you know this person significantly better from a business perspective, and go, does this sound right? Does this sound like it is? But for you to move forward, or for you to even know the roadblocks between here and there, or what this person really thinks about you stepping up, you need to start to ask the question. Because once you get a response back on the question, then like in another coaching session, it's a matter of, okay, how do we break down that barrier?
Yeah.
Right? But right at the moment, we create in our head barriers that we don't know.
Yes.
We perceive.
Absolutely.
Right? Our imagination is really great at setting up these roadblocks for us and giving us this fear. Right? And so this intention helps you get a response in a way that you can then go, okay, what is it that I need to do to either eliminate that barrier or that perception? Because what would it feel like, Kate, if you sent that out and he came back and said, that is really cool, let's work on that plan? Like, hey, you never know, right? Until
you never know. You never know.
You never know, right?
That is true. That would be amazing. That reaction would be absolutely fantastic.
Right? And maybe he's waiting for somebody in your position to step up and say, this is what I want to do.
Yep. It's possible.
Right?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
So what if that is the thought you have before you send the email versus the thought of, I'm just a little sweet?
Oh yeah. Cause I won't press send unless there's or you could call him, Nancy, and give him a little cue card and tell him to say all the things you just said to me.
Here's the response you need to give back.
Here's your answer. I have it done for you. But yes.
So when do you think you'll have this email ready to send?
Well, it's sitting right here. So I want to sit on it. I don't want to right? Because it's very important that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's put a timeline on it so that it doesn't sit there forever.
What's a realistic timeline?
It's your timeline.
Okay. It's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What if by Tuesday? That gives me a chance to talk to the other person.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know if I need to. That's a good question because it's like, well, it's a really simple, quick email. It's not complicated. So I don't feel like I need a lot of like someone to read it because now it's so simple. Whereas before in my head, it had to be elaborate and explanatory and going
Right.
into details everywhere.
Right. All as you're doing right at the moment is getting information, is getting feedback.
Yeah.
Right. And the feedback that comes back, regardless of whether it comes off as negative or positive, it's feedback.
Yeah.
And when we have feedback, then we can make the next decision.
Yeah.
Okay. So all you're doing is getting feedback.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. You make it sound so easy and simple. Yeah.
It is in my spot. I don't have to do that.
Right? I know.
To the coach. It's kind of like when you teach me dance, Kate, and like you make it look so easy and simple. Why can I get my feet to do what you want me to do? Okay, so now that on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you think you'll be to send that by Tuesday?
I think really confident, actually. Again, the fact that it's simple, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Whereas again, in my head, I was complicated. So it was going to be a really difficult email to press send on because I was uncomfortable. But if it's a quick and simple, here you go, I'm just throwing an idea at you, that feels a lot easier.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yay.
So like a 7.
Yay. A 7. Okay. What would it take to be a 10?
Could you call him and tell him the answer I want? I think honestly, just to sit with it and then look back on it, make sure I'm happy with it, and then just do it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
Cool.
Thanks, Nancy.
Great. There you go. There you go. Okay, so take a deep breath. The hard bit is over. So Kate, as just kind of a conversation, from where we started to where we end, how do you feel at the end of this coaching session with what we've gone through and where you're currently sitting right at the moment?
I feel like a block just got removed, which is what I need. I need the blocks to get removed. Yeah. So at least there's one that just, it's not
cool.
Good. Yeah. That's
cool.
It's nice. That's fun.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I'm just going to round out the end of the show. So I want to thank Kate for showing up and being vulnerable. As leaders, when you show up and be vulnerable, your staff know that they can ask and be vulnerable too. And as Kate highlighted so beautifully in her words, we have the answers within us. So coaching is really about helping you discover the answers within you to move forward. If you are interested in having a complimentary impact and influence session and be part of this show, please click the link in the show notes below and schedule a time. I would love to have you. My intention is that show is going to be posted every Tuesday and Thursday on LinkedIn and YouTube, and little bits and pieces may show up in other places as well. I want to wish you an absolutely fantastic day, and I hope that you become the leader that you've always dreamed of being. Cheers.